This video for Salvador to help him out with an offer that he's going to make with Darren Zuber. So I'm going to pull up the comps on the property. He gave me that address just a second ago, and I'm going to kind of run through what I would normally do to value a property. This is the property on Terrace, and the first thing you want to do is take the square footage on the property, and then you want to take 20% of it, okay? So that would be 1729 times 0.2, which is 20%. And that'll give you the in-between value that you're going to add and subtract to make the maximum and minimum for the structure square footage, which is exactly the way that the appraisers do it, okay? And this is kind of a homogeneous neighborhood where all the properties in that area are going to be tracked. So you're probably going to be looking for something that's very similar in size and condition, and possibly a model match would be something that's identical to the property. Okay, so we're going to take that 345 and add it and subtract it to that square footage. So that minus 1729 is a minimum of 1383, and then we're going to take that 1729 and add the 345, which is going to give you a maximum square footage of 2074. Now those are the property square footages that the appraisers are going to accept while they're doing their property searches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a radius search, which is what the appraisers are going to do, around this property, which is on 5341 West Terrace. Oops. And you want to fill out the information entirely if you can, so that it'll give you the most accurate information. Oops. 93722. Okay, that looks right. Okay, we're gonna check out the residential single family, because that's what it is. We're gonna take the actives and pendings, and then the solds, which should default 6 months back. Okay, and it's showing 6 right now without putting any square footage in. And then this is where you're gonna put in that 1383 minimum and the maximum of 2074. Okay, and it looks like there's 4 properties within a quarter-mile radius. Okay, so we're going to take a look at those 4 and see how it's shaping up and see how close they resemble the listing property. So listing property is this guy right here, 275. There's a model match that's on the market for a little bit more, about 10 grand more. Similar square foot, similar, property size. So, I haven't seen the property. Salvador has. Looks like it's got, pretty stock. Looks like maybe upgraded flooring. Since it's gray, that's kind of a newer color. I would figure that they've probably did some interior painting. Looks like the carpet's probably newer than the, let's see, what is it, 2007? So it's probably newer carpets. May not appeal to everybody in the color scheme, although I do like the superhero room. That's really cool. So I would probably say it's a house that's probably very, very typical in that neighborhood, not upgraded. Okay, so that's what we're getting from that. This property that is a direct model match looks like it's pretty standard, but has updated flooring, a little bit of wainscoting, and maybe some interior paint as well. You'll notice how I think the photography is probably a lot better on the other property, because this is very dark. That property's probably not gonna match. Boy, not well anyway. All right, and then we have one for 275, which is the highest sold comp within that area. A little bit bigger square footage, similar lot size. Looks like this house is also pretty typical, not very updated. So actually the house that Salvador's putting an offer in is probably in a little bit better condition than this one. So Darren Zuber, the listing agent, probably has it listed at the correct price for the area, since that's the top sold comp. Now this is the trick, okay guys? The appraiser has to keep going out from the property, and this is an FHA price range. So on an FHA deal, they have to keep going out until they find 3 actives and 3 solds, which will bracket the high and low price range for the neighborhood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to revise the criteria, and I'm going to go out to half a mile and look for properties that are very similar. That's a lot. 14 listings is a lot for that neighborhood, since it's a tract neighborhood, I mean. So you're going to go ahead and try to look for those properties that bracket it again. So this one's the active. This one's a little bit bigger. It actually looks like a property that, yeah, I'm actually very familiar with that property. I have one for sale right now too. 1842, that one doesn't match. It's a custom. 1920, that's also a custom. This one's a little bigger. This one's probably the same builder. So we're approaching that different price range now. So, okay, as solds go, we want to look at something that's of similar square footage, and there's really not. So that 275 and these lower priced properties are going to allow it to have a maximum and minimum, which is about 275 to 240. So you could, because of demand, and you'd probably have to ask the listing agent what kind of calls they've been getting. And if you had competition, you could probably bump it up another 5, which would be, you know, about right for the neighborhood. Year to year, year on year, from 2017 to 2018, we've been looking at about a 2% increase. So that's probably not a bad idea, but you want to keep it pretty close to that 2% increase if you wanted to. So that price range that price is actually just right for that property. So that's how I assessed the value of it, and that's how I've been doing the comparison. Okay, so you guys just pay attention to the photographs, try to find things that are the same likeness, and toss out the ones that don't work, because you know there's a lot of customs in there too, sprinkled into some of those neighborhoods. So just want to make sure you're pulling the right ones when you're doing your comps. If you have any other questions, give me a call. Well, you guys know my number, so I'll end the video now.